Welcome into 5 Wide for props and locks in NFL Week 16. Merry Christmas, everybody. We're getting to a great time of the year for the NFL with the holiday weekend. We've got football on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Unfortunately, one of my 3 favorite plays are not on Monday, but I will play for Saturday and a couple plays for Sunday. All sides for you guys. And by the way, on the season, 26-16, 63% hit rate. We are 16 weeks into the season and we are still hitting at over a 60% rate. And the views have been dropping on these videos. If you guys are watching, if you enjoy the videos, enjoy the content, enjoying the picks, I would really appreciate it if you did hit that like button. Also, get in the comments. I haven't heard from many of you guys in these videos. So if you guys have some of your favorite plays this week, drop them below. Who do you got, Niners or the Ravens on Christmas night? That game is going to rock. Again, 3 plays today, as we do every week. Haven't had enough 3-0 weeks, a ton of 2-1 weeks, couple of 1-2 weeks. We need a 3-0 week, and I think we get it here. Again, 3 sides for you guys, so all against the spread. Let's jump into it. All right, let's start again Saturday. I love the Steelers, plus 2.5 against the Bengals. These two teams matched up just, 4 weeks ago. Steelers won that game 16-10. Now they're a 2.5-point underdog at home against this Bengals team, and man, Mike Tomlin, if you have not heard, Mike Tomlin as an underdog is one of the best money makers in football, in sports. He's 55-31-3 as an underdog. That is a 63.5% hit rate. Same with these picks this year. But even better, as a home underdog, guys, Mike Tomlin is 18-6-3, 75% against the spread, and we are getting 2.5 points on Saturday. I love this spot. Beat the Bengals, like I mentioned, with Jake Browning starting as well those 4 weeks ago. That was the first start Browning made since the Burrow injury. Here's the deal. I know Browning has looked a lot better in the last couple of weeks, and you could say, now that he's gotten a little bit more involved, a little bit more comfortable, he's looked better. But you know what the result is of Browning looking like a quarterback capable of manning this offense to the postseason is what they've done after the catch. He has one of the lowest, he actually has the lowest average depth of target of any quarterback this season, just 6.5 yards in average depth of target, which is 40 qualified quarterbacks. You look at these matchups that they've played the last few weeks, okay? So the Vikings allowed 159 yards after the catch against the Bengals. The Colts allowed 201 yards after the catch against the Bengals. The Jags, who the Bengals upset as a 10.5-point underdog, the Jags allowed almost 230 yards after the catch against this Bengals team. Now, what did the Steelers do? Allowed less than 130 yards after the catch in that matchup that they had back in November. So the key is, and I think the Steelers can continue to do this, is limit yards after the catch for this Bengals team, because Browning does not push the ball downfield. He has very low percentage, pretty much the lowest of any quarterback in percentage of attempts of 20-plus air yards. Everything is at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, or just a few yards in front of the line of scrimmage. And what I don't think people are talking about enough is Jamar Chase's absence in this game is massive for that. This is one of the best yards after the catch creators in the entire league. They'll be relying on T. Higgins, and they'll be relying on Tyler Boyd to be those guys, and they don't nearly have the talent that Chase does. His absence is massive in this game. And you look at, as well, a Steelers team that's top 10 in broken tackle rate. So they're a pretty disciplined tackling team. People will point to their run defense struggling. That is certainly a factor in this game. No doubt about that. The run game will be important for the Steelers to slow down for the Bengals. But I also think offensively for the Steelers, I think we're getting a clear upgrade, okay? Mitch Trubisky has been horrendous. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is a top 60 quarterback in this league right now. He has been terrible. Mason Rudolph is going to be starting in this game. I think it's much needed. I think we will get an upgrade. And quite frankly, I know a lot of us might look at the Bengals of seasons past and say that this is a very good defense. Lou Anarumo is a great defensive coach, but the personnel just is not there. This defense has not been very good this season. They rank 26th in EPA per pass. They also rank 29th in opponent EPA per rush. They're one of the worst run defenses in the league, allowing 4.7 yards per carry. That is second last, only behind the Broncos. So I think you'll see Najee Harris and Jalen Warren run the ball efficiently in this game. That's going to take some pressure off of Rudolph in his first start of the season and his first start in quite a bit here. And you will probably see Najee Harris find the end zone. That's a little bonus pick for you guys. I believe he's plus 175. He scored 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games against the Bengals. That will be a bet that should be fun to make as well. Maybe a little first touchdown as well. Have a little fun here on Saturday afternoon. But Steelers plus 2.5. Steelers on the money line. That's a play I love this weekend. Next game up. This one's going to be a little ugly to back, but I'm very comfortable doing it like we had with the Saints last week as a 6-point favorite against the Giants. Blew them out, took care of business very easily. I love the Jets. -3 at home against the Commanders. I think this is a perfect matchup for their offense to get right. Now, I know Zach Wilson in concussion protocol. I didn't see if he was still in the protocol here on Thursday when I'm recording here, but as of Wednesday, he still was. Quite frankly, if it's Trevor Siemian, I'm still comfortable playing this. Maybe you can get it at 2.5, which I was able to play earlier this week at like about -115. But why I love this matchup for their offense is the Commanders. Ever since they traded Josh Sweat, traded Chase Young away, this pass rush has been super underwhelming. They have a 30% pressure rate, which is the third lowest in the entire league, 30th in the NFL. Perfect here for the Jets because they have given up a ton of sacks this season. They have the second highest sack rate in the NFL, only behind the New York Giants. So I think this is going to be a great opportunity to see this offense get right a little bit, much like we saw the Giants in their win over the Commanders a few weeks ago as well. Huge for the Jets and their offensive line. So I like that offensively, what we can do there with the pass rush, but also just the defense overall. It's been brutal. 32nd in EPA per pass, with dead last, giving up 8.1 yards per pass attempt. That is the worst in the NFL as well. We also look at the run game with Breece Hall. That's been pretty underwhelming the last 5-6 weeks. Think it could get right here as well. The Commanders giving up 4.5 yards per carry, which is 24th, and they rank 25th in opponent EPA per rush. Now, we go to the offensive side for the Commanders. Many of you would probably know Washington is the most pass-heavy team in the entire league, throwing the ball in 66.4% of plays, which is first in the NFL. We don't know if Brian Robinson will be healthy and available for this game. He's been missing practice early in the week. We know the Jets. If you know the Jets, you know pass defense is what they do best. So it's a perfect matchup for their defense. And I also wanted to call out, and I think it's important for when you look at scheme here and how we might see an upper hand here for Robert Saleh's defense. You look at that game against the Chiefs, held the Chiefs to just 3 points in the second half in a 23-20 loss to Kansas City earlier this season. And looking at Eric Bieniemy as a guy that comes from the Andy Reid coaching tree, their schemes are very similar. I think you could see a tactical advantage there for the Jets. These are two teams that haven't met in, I believe, 4, maybe 5 years. I think their last meeting was 2018 or 2019. So not a lot of familiarity for these teams. And that might be enough of an edge here for their defense when it comes to their matchup with this offense. So like the Jets as a field goal favorite in this one. And finally, let's make Christmas night a little bit better. A bad game, the Patriots and the Broncos. But how can we make that better? Let's get a bet down. And I love the Pats, +6.5 at Denver. The Lions last week made us a bunch of money. It was my biggest bet of the NFL season. No sweat winner with that one, which was awesome. Needed that one on Saturday night. But the reason I love the Patriots is because this feels very similar to that Lions matchup. This is a Patriots team that's elite stopping the run, but has struggled against the pass. And the offense, in a neutral game script, would like to run the football. They much prefer leaning on a guy like Ezekiel Elliott as opposed to leaning on the Bailey Zappi and an underwhelming passing attack. And for Russell Wilson, I think we saw it this past week. That he's a quarterback that's been very protected this season and needs the run game to be effective and efficient in order to open up his passing game opportunities, because this team doesn't trust him to make plays downfield. He ranks 26th in average depth of target. His 6.9 yards per attempt is 20th in the NFL. And in the last 4 weeks has not looked good either. He's completing less than 60% of his passes over the course of the last 4 weeks. So I think if the run game isn't there, which I don't think it will be, we're going to see him struggle. The Patriots, number 1 in EPA against the run, number 1 in opponent yards per carry, 3.1 yards per carry. You cannot move the ball on the ground against this team. You've got to throw it, allowing just a 4.5% broken tackle rate. Very disciplined team, coached by Bill Belichick. That is not a surprise to anyone. If you want to beat this Patriots team, it's got to be through the air. That's where they've struggled, but you're not going to see a guy like Russell Wilson, I think, be able to take advantage of that. Then I mentioned the offensive side. The Broncos' run defense, brutal. The Lions run the ball at will. I think you'll probably see Ezekiel Elliott run the ball at will in this game. The Broncos ranks against the run 32nd in opponent EPA per rush and 32nd in opponent yards per carry. Opposing running backs are running the ball at an average of 5.2 yards per carry. The next closest team is a full half yard less, 4.7 yards per carry. So this is by far the worst run defense in the league. And what I also like from the Pats and the scheme from Bill O'Brien is how much they utilize their tight ends in the pass game, which could help take away from some of those talented players that the Broncos have in the secondary, namely Pat Surtain. So I really like the matchup for the Pats. I think they can stay in this game. Broncos have been much better at home than on the road. That is no doubt there. but I do think 6.5 points is too much. Was able to also snag this at +7 when it was briefly there earlier this week. You want to buy a half point and get it a little bit more security with a full touchdown. Don't think that's a bad idea either, but do like the Pats here. All right, those are my 3 favorite plays in week 16 of the NFL. Guys, be sure to drop me a follow on Twitter as well. It's just my full name, Tyler McKillop on Twitter. I'll have more NFL plays throughout this slate from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, so drop me a follow there. Again, appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, hit that like button. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. We'll have tons more NFL picks and betting content all the way up into the Super Bowl. We will see you guys on the next one.